Good morning, hello, and welcome to Morning Brew on Hughes of the World. I'm Graham Hughes. Nice to have you with us this morning. Who have we got in the chat? We've got Lost Missionary, we've got Sarah Davis, we have got Diz in the chat as well, and Saz. Hello, hello, hello. If you'd like to join our friendly friends in the friendly chat, all you need to do is press the friendly subscribe button and wait for approximately 1 minute. One of your Earth minutes. So today we're going to be slagging off Nigel Farage, which is something that we do enjoy doing on this channel. We try and slag him off as much as humanly possible, as often as possible, because you know what? He deserves it. He deserves it. He's a piece of shit human being. He's not a very nice person. But there's a lot to get through, so let's get through it all. So the Guardian is reporting that Nigel Farage has confronted Tony Gallagher, the editor of the Times, gobshite. I mean, Tony Blair, yeah, well, he's one of them. But Tony Gallagher, I mean, this is a guy who used to edit The Sun, isn't it? So he's sorry, I just need to move my mic. He's not me Bezzy. He's not me Bezzy. Right? Don't like him. And this is kind of like scumbag on scumbag fights. It's whoever wins, whoever loses, we win. But he's the editor of the Times now, and he's confronted him over his this investigation into his property holdings, all 5 houses, only 2 of which he declared, paid for out of the money, some of the money that he was given, the 5 million that he was given by Christopher Harborne, who's a crypto billionaire, which he didn't declare. He didn't declare that money. He didn't declare the extra houses that he owned. Didn't think he had to. Didn't think it was important, you see, because he was rich. He was born rich. He was born spat out of his mum's snatch into a big pile of money, you see. And so the rules don't apply to him. Because the rules don't apply to the rich in our society, in the world in which we live. They don't apply to the rich. And when you say, hey, maybe these rules should apply to the rich, they scream at you, oh, it's the politics of envy. Why aren't you nice? Why aren't you being nice to these people? It's not their fault they're rich. It's not their fault their daddy put them into a school that costs £30,000 a year. And it's not their fault, you know, that their parents spent £150,000 on their education. Oh, leave them alone. Leave them alone. No, I say fuck that. I say these people should be held to account. They should be held to a higher standard than the rest of us. Thank you very much. That's what I think. Anyway, so people briefed on the exchange said Farage directed an expletive at Gallagher. A source described the encounter as a strong confrontation. The reported dispute surprised some figures close to Farage because of the intensity of his response. He seems really, really rattled. And I think it's because he might go to jail. I genuinely think the more they dig, the more they're going to find out that he has these very close relations with Russia and Vladimir Putin. And yeah, I think this could end very, very badly for Farage. Well, I hope it does. I don't think it will because he's dead rich. I don't think Nathan Gill was that rich. You see, that was Nathan Gill's fuck up. If he'd been richer, he probably would have got away with it. Wouldn't be in jail right now for 10 years for working with the Russians against the British state, against Europe, actually, against the whole of our continent. Because he's a fucking traitor, head of reform in Wales. Fucking traitor, in jail, 10 years. Get out of that one. Farage said that the Times had endangered his family by publishing a photograph connected to a property occupied by one of his adult children, occupied being the operative word there because it's actually owned by Farage. And Farage has taken photos of himself outside that property before and had them spread around the media. He's set them out on press releases of him outside that property, which is his property. He owns it. He owns that property. His daughter lives there. His grown daughter, by the way. This isn't this little 7-year-old girl who's running around crying because there's all photographers in the bushes outside. No. This is one reporter knocking on the door to see if Farage was in because that was registered as one of his properties. But he's really rattled. He's really rattled. Reform figures maintain that the image should not have appeared because of threats against Farage and his relatives. The Times said the photograph did not reveal the property's location or create a security risk, which I agree with. A senior figure at News UK, which owns the Times, has since approached Farage about a meeting. Now, the land registry records examined by the Times indicated that Farage and his partner, Laurie Ferrari, who's Italian, I think, or French or something, I don't know, whatever, she's not British, owns at least 5 homes across Surrey, Essex and Kent with a combined value of over £4 million. All but one of those properties were reportedly purchased with cash from 2020 onwards. The portfolio's main property is a 5-bedroomed house on 7.5 acres of woodland in Surrey, purchased by Farage for £1.42 million in May of 2024. Do you know what else happened in May of 2024? Rishi Sunak went out in the rain and he stood there in the rain getting nice and wet, telling us that we're going to have a general election. So that happened. The Times estimated that approximately £350,000 had subsequently been spent on extending that property. Ferrari bought a 4-bedroomed house with a swimming pool, an outdoor swimming pool in Clacton for £885,000 in November of that year, November 2024. You know, after Farage worked so hard that he said he won the lottery. He said, I worked really hard and I won the lottery for working really hard. Fuck off. No, you didn't. Piss off. No, you didn't work hard. You're just this little fucking sleaze bag who takes money off anyone who wants to give you money, and you put it in your pockets and you go, thank you very much. What do you want me to do? And they say, oh, we want you to go and meet with the governor of the Bank of England. Oh, the governor of the Bank of England. You say, what do you want me to say to them? I want you to say to the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, I want you to go up to him and say, hey, listen, can you dial off this crypto thing that you want to do? Because it won't, if you do that, it won't make my mate loads of money. And my mate likes making loads of money, you know. I know, because he gave me some of it. To literally come along and say to the governor of the Bank of England. I mean, the corruption here is in plain sight, and anyone who defends it is a lunatic, as far as I'm concerned, an absolute lunatic. The politics of envy is a real thing, but it comes entirely from those who have too much, envying those who don't have the little that they have. Yeah, you're right, Acro Dave. You're absolutely right. They're jealous of people who have friends. Simple as that. Because they'll never know what that's like. Especially if they're born rich. MPs must declare rental income from a property when it exceeds £10,000 annually. The Times said they had no evidence establishing that Farage receives rent from the Kent house above that threshold, or if it receives rent at all. The property does not appear in the parliamentary. So this is the house in the Kent village, which is occupied by one of his daughters and another adult. That might be a partner whose parents went to jail for drug dealing. Nice bunch, this. Nice bunch of fucking gangsters. There's lots of fellowship here with Trump, who yesterday decided that the Falkland Islands probably should go back to Argentina. Probably, I don't know what a red card is, but I think that it should be taken away. I don't know what the Falklands are. I don't know what it is, but my hairy nutsack of a friend in Argentina running around with a fucking chainsaw. Yeah, he should take it over and fuck off these people who are like, oh no, don't say anything about the Falklands because it upsets the people of Argentina. Fuck it, they pulled out that banner. I never said anything about the Falklands. I never said anything about the Falklands at all. But they pulled out that banner, and now I'm going to go the Falklands. Stanley, the little postcard from Stanley in the Falkland Islands. Fucking great, brilliant. Fucking bring it on. British, it's fucking British. Why are you threatening to kill women and children? Ethnically cleanse the island of people undesirables who aren't Argentinian or don't want to be ruled over by a hairy nutsack who's in charge of a developing fucking nation. Fuck off, Argentina. 1895, Argentina, richest country in the world. Richest country in the world, 1895. Now it's a developing nation. It has a GDP per capita of about $14,000 a year. We've got 60,000. Okay, 60,000 in the UK. So what this government and the people of Argentina are saying, essentially, is that they want the people in the Falkland Islands to become a part of their impoverished nation run by a hairy nutsack with a fascist with a fucking chainsaw. No, can you fuck off? And we're not strident enough about this because some people go, oh, you shouldn't say anything. Shouldn't say anything. You know, what? Don't upset the apple. No, fuck them. Fuck them. If that was an Israeli team and they had a banner that said Israel, Gaza is Israeli, how would you feel about that? What's the difference? The people of Gaza do not want to be ruled over by the fuckers in Knesset in Israel. They do not want to be ruled over by those mad bastards. They don't want to be ruled over by Bibi Netanyahu. Do not want to be ruled over by these people who want them dead. Want them out of there. I want to take it over for themselves. What's the difference? Someone in the chat who might be a little bit sort of on the fence about this, explain to me what the difference is. 99.8% of people who polled in a referendum in 2013 in the Falkland Islands says they want to stay with Britain. They don't want to be ruled over by a country that just has coup d'etats and mass killings and throws people out of fucking aeroplanes if they look at the government the wrong way. Deeply, deeply corrupt system that, I mean, we could talk about colonization. But the fact is that Argentina, the people who live in Argentina now, a lot of them are very racist. A lot of them, they supported the Nazis, and that Nazis come to their country after the Second World War. But also, on top of that, if you look at colonization, the Argentinians had a whole program of taken over the desert. They called it the desert because they didn't want to acknowledge that anyone lived there. And I will agree with people that there should be a united Ireland. I'd like to see that, but it's got to be up to the people of Ireland, people of Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, to make that happen. And it depends on what they want. If they have self-determination, I'm fine with that. But 99.8% of people in in Northern Ireland said they did not want to be part of the United Kingdom anymore. I'd respect that. I'd say, okay, fair enough. I wouldn't run around sticking stickers on every fucking bus in the whole country, in every barber's shop, in every restaurant, in every cafe, and every street corner saying Northern Ireland is British. Because that would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? 99.8% of the people in Northern Ireland didn't want to be British anymore. Yeah. Or even better, they were never British to start with. Because here's the thing, whereas Argentina ran around exterminating the indigenous people who used to live in what's now Argentina, and also got rid of a lot of black people who lived there as well. It used to be 50-50, black and whites living in Argentina. Now it's 1% black. Yeah, there was a bit of ethnic cleansing went on there. Okay, so that's colonization. That's the horrors of colonization, right? Meanwhile, Falkland Islands, uninhabited, except for some penguins. I think we need to do that. I think we probably need to Photoshop it so we turn them into Israeli players and it says Gaza is Israeli, and see how it makes people feel. See the visceral reaction to that, because it's just as bad. It's a threat. It's a fucking threat against the people who live in the Falklands. I know there's only 1,500 people live in the Falklands, but they're still, they live there. Their families, children live there. Little elderly, grandmothers live there. And the Argentinians are threatening to kill them all violently with bombs because they want to take them over and they want to drive them out the island and take it over for themselves. And for a government to say that is bad enough, for them to unfurl that banner at that fucking football match, fuck off. Fuck all the way off. I'm getting really hardline about this. How fucking dare you? It's disgusting. And we need to point it out that it's disgusting. It's not just like a funny little thing. Yeah, the Falklands. Remember that? No. People fucking died. Hundreds of people died in that conflict. And that is completely fucking not on. It's completely not on. And they only fucking keep going on about it because successive shit governments of Argentina need something to go, we're not so bad. Look at what they're doing. I think it's really shit. Anyway, sorry, get off the topic there. I was supposed to be talking about Farage. I hope Messi elbows a Spanish player in the crotch. Will he get sent off if he did? No. No. Like vampires, people who are born rich don't have friends. They just have rivals and victims in waiting. Very well put, Acro Dave, I think. It's child abuse, really, isn't it? There are very few black people in Argentina. Yep. Because they got rid of them all. They literally got rid of them all. They turfed a lot of the people out. They also bred them out. They had breeding. Honestly, the stuff that went on in Argentina back in the day is fucking disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. And it's why it's got one of the least racially mixed places in South America. The only countries that have had a stake in the Falklands were the French, Spanish, and the British. The only country that's never had a presence there is Argentina. Yeah. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Actually, no, the Argentinians did invade in the 1830s for a few years, and then they were kicked out by the British a few years later. But the person who found the islands, who got there first and plonked down the flag and said, "Do you have a flag?" was not from Argentina, because it happened because 100 odd years before Argentina even existed. Wasn't Spanish, wasn't French, was British. This is ours. And that's the way it worked back then, especially if it was somewhere that no one else claimed. We still have St. Helena, we still have Ascension Island, we still have South Georgia, and what's the other island called down there? We've still got the section of the Antarctic that we got from the Antarctic Treaty in the 1950s. We still have these territories around the world. Pitcairn Island in the middle of the Pacific. No one lived there. No one lived there. That's the reason why there's still British people there. There were indigenous people there, like on the British Indian Ocean territories in Diego Garcia. Then yeah, fair enough. They've got an argument. There were indigenous people there. Britain turned up with a flag and said, "This is ours now." Not on. And threw all the people off that island. Not on. But isn't it funny how Trump is now coming on the side of Argentina? Just like he came down on the side of not giving the people of the Chagos Islands self-determination either, or letting them go home to their own homes where they actually, grew up. Argentina are only interested in the Falkland Islands because they can be used as a staging point for oil exploration of the Antarctic. That's why Trump is backing them. And well, I don't understand that because it's closer. The tip of South America is closer to, a lot closer to Antarctic. You don't usually take a vessel to the Antarctic from the Falklands. You usually take it from Argentina or from Chile. But yeah, there is an oil field to the north of the island, which was found in 2010, which they want, But like, don't pretend that this is something more than a toxic, imperialistic land grab. It's the same as Vladimir Putin going into Ukraine. I don't understand how you can be against what the horrors that are happening in Gaza under the cosh of the Israelis, on the Israeli government, the IDF. How can you be against that, but you're not against what Putin's doing? You're not against what Millet's doing? I just don't. I can't see the through line. Oh no, it's okay if they do it. I don't think it's okay if anyone does it, to be honest with you. It's okay if these people murder. They can murder, that's fine. But if those people murder, then no, that's out of order. Anyway, so yes, where were we? We were talking about Farage. We were talking about this property in the Kent village, which his daughter lives in, right? Two beachfront properties on an adjoining parcel of land are held through Farage's company, which is called a Thorn in the Side Limited. We've got which the acronym is TITS. One coastal property was purchased for over £500,000 in 2023 and is planning permission for demolition and replacement with a 3-story home. Well, that's nice, isn't it? What the estimated cost of the proposed redevelopment exceeds £1 million. Other beachfront house was bought for $500,000 in 2020. Only 2 properties were listed under the land and property section of Farage's parliamentary declaration. So you have 5 properties, only 2 declared. Farage said the remaining corporate properties did not require separate registration because his ownership of Thorn on the Side Limited was already declared under shareholdings. Parliamentary rules do not explicitly resolve every question concerning homes through companies. The Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards declined to clarify the application of the rules on the specific properties, but it does go to show that if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That's what fascists do. That's what right-wing people do. Give them an inch, they take a mile. Farage's spokesperson said all declarations have been checked at the Parliamentary Register and no findings has been made that Farage has breached the property regulation rules as yet. Now, News UK owns both the Times and the Sun and is controlled by Rupert Murdoch's media group. Farage attended the company's summer party last year and dined with the Sun editor Victoria Newton. The Sun had previously placed Reform's Britain is Broken slogan on its front page. Reform regarded favourable coverage from these newspapers as important to expanding beyond its established voter base. And the Times, the Sun, the Daily Telegraph, even the Daily Mail have all carried more critical coverage of Farage and Refuck following these questions about his finances and to by-election defeats. The Telegraph has described Farage's resignation and decision to recontest Clacton as a summer gamble and a farce. The paper also published comments from Kemi Badenoch stating the Conservative Party was for serious people rather than a retirement home for failed politicians, which is what she was regarding the Refucker party as. And the Daily Mail published a favourable interview with Farage, but accompanied it with an editorial saying that Farage's 2 electoral defeat and scrutiny of his finances had altered the party's position. Maybe it'll alter the position of the Mail, I don't know. Sun commentator Trevor Kavanagh wrote that the country was witnesses in the sudden death of the political movement built around Farage, which is probably why he's losing his mind right now, because the people who lent him the money, or gave him the money, wanted a result, and he's not going to get them the result. They'll probably fucking kill him. Do you know why he's so obsessed about his security? It's not because of you and me. It's not because of like us lot who just fucking hate him. It's the people who he owes money to, because they paid £5 million for him to do a certain job, and he's not going to be able to do it now. You have failed me for the last time, Admiral. Having an inch is all they know. Says Grim Fan. That's funny. Well, 90% of the Epstein list is full of right-wingers, so yes, the right will take your kids, Acro Dave. Yeah. Get the right name, she'll take your kids. Yeah, this is why Trump is backing the Argentinians. He thinks they can take the Falkland Islands back, never belong to them. Then his cronies in the oil industry can exploit the oil fields. Yeah, probably. But I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting to put that level of anxiety on the people who live in the Falkland Islands, not knowing if they're going to be safe, not knowing each day, each morning if they're going to wake up to a fucking bombing raid from the fucking Argentinians. Fuck off. This is supposed to be football. Why is this happening? Why is this happening in the football? It is beyond disgusting. And the people defending this, it blows my mind. Like, how can they be so hypocritical? It's the same people who go, oh, what Israel is doing in Gaza is wrong, which it clearly is. And they're like, oh, this is disgraceful. And they go on and on and on about it. It's all they fucking talk about. It's their thing. It's their, you get into a conversation with them. Do you want a ham butty? No. And then they'll talk about fucking what's going on in Gaza. And fair enough. I mean, it is a serious situation. I'm not making light of it in any way, shape, or form. But some people build their entire political worldview around what's happening in Gaza. That matters more than anything else, more than children going hungry in this country, or more than veterans on the street in this country, or whatever else it is. That matters to him. Okay, fair enough. But at the same token, if that pisses you off, if that upsets you, the fact that these kids growing up in Gaza are waking up each morning going, oh God, I hope I don't die today in a violent, horrific way in which I die bleeding out in pain because I've been hit by a bomb or shot by a sniper. That's what they're trying to do to the kids in the Falkland Islands. How fucking dare they? How fucking dare they? It's disgusting. It is just disgusting. I'm not having any debate about this. It is what that football team did is absolutely abominable. Absolutely abominable. Threatening the children on an island 300 miles away because it's closer to Argentina than it is to somewhere else. So what? Fucking St. Helena isn't close to Britain. It's still our country. Well, not our country, our part of our country. But yeah, no taking into account self-determination. The people who live there. And they make the same claims that Putin, another mate of Trump's, say about Ukraine. They say, oh, there were people put there. There were people who were put there by someone. Someone put them there. They shouldn't be there. Those people shouldn't be there. Those people in Crimea shouldn't be Ukrainian. They should be Russian. We're going to invade. Those people in that airplane, the MH17, they shouldn't be in the air. I'm going to blow them out of the fucking air with a big fucking missile and get away with it. That should have been it. Well, that should have been the point where we declared war on Russia when they blew up that airliner. Why not? There was a Russian guy on TV this week on Channel 4 News going, oh, yes, we have nuclear weapons. We're not afraid to use them. I'm like, yeah, you have the weapons, but you are afraid to use them because they haven't been maintained and they might blow up in your face. Argentina doesn't have the army to retake the islands, will be very quickly owned. Yeah, but it only takes one plane to go over and start bombing stuff for people to die. I mean, it's a threat. It is a threat. It's a disgusting threat. Here's a thought. If Argentina attacks the Falklands, the UK should invoke Article 5 at NATO. Yeah, they absolutely should. They absolutely should. I'm not too knowledgeable, but even with the vote came after Thatcher's war, there are generations alive right now who have never got a say. I'm just in favour of self-determination. There are generations alive right now who never got a say. No, there aren't. There was a vote in 2013. It was 99.8% in the Falkland Islands. 99.8% referendum to stay with Britain. 99.8%. So this isn't a 52-48 landslide. There was 3 people on the whole island who voted not to stay with the UK. They were probably drunk. Yeah, this isn't about patriotism. No, fuck that. It's not about nationalism, not about patriotism. This is about the self-determination of the people who live on a fucking island, on a rock somewhere in the South Atlantic. God love them. And the same with Gibraltar. The people who live in Gibraltar want to be British. Okay, fair enough. And it's a bit hypocritical for Spain to say, oh, that should be ours. Well, hang on. What about those bits of Morocco that you own? Do they have to? What about the Canary Islands? Closer to Morocco than it is to Spain. Does that have to go back to Morocco? Back to Morocco? No, the people who live there want to be Spanish. People who live in Ceuta want to be Spanish. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's self-determination. That's what I'm interested in. But yeah, I've not been to the Falkland Islands myself, but I know people who've been there. People who worked over there, and yeah, they don't want to be ruled over by Argentina. Why would you want to? Javier Milei is a fucking monster. You know, he's the Trump of South America. Why would you want it? Why would you want him to be in charge? Even if you really, really, really hate Andy Burnham. We'll get into that. You know, why would you? Why would you choose that? Oh, I'll have a fascist in. I don't like this Andy Burnham guy. He's too annoying and scouse, and he doesn't wear a shirt. My patriotism or starts peeking over the stuff. Sick of people thinking we will just roll over or be a doormat. Russia might not be able to guarantee that their nukes will work, but it only takes one. Yeah, but they don't. They can't risk it. They can't risk it for a biscuit. I keep saying this. The Russian nuclear arsenal is supposed to be bigger than America's, right? America spends more money on maintaining its nuclear arsenal than Russia spends on its entire military. Even now, they're at war. They don't have the. They haven't done a test in fucking years. They haven't done a nuclear test since the 90s. Why? I said the 80s. Actually, I don't even think they managed to do any nuclear testing in the 90s because obviously things went tits up for them after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the breaking apart of the Soviet Union. But like, you have to maintain these things. You can't just hope for the best. Self-determination isn't a phrase you often hear these days, says John Sees. Yes, it is. Self-determination. But yeah, this is why I'm quite happy to see United Ireland if the majority of people in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland want it. But it's got to be the vast majority. I'm not having this 248 bullshit for something that changes the entire fabric of your nation, that changes the constitution of your nation. You've got to change the constitution in America. Bloody hell, the hoops you got to jump through. You've got to get 2/3 in the House of Representatives, you've got to get 2/3 in the Senate, and you've got to get it ratified by 2/3 of the states. That's why nothing ever gets changed. I mean, that's a bad thing because it's too hard to change things. But I mean, at least if you're going to change the constitution, you need to make sure that the vast majority are on side. They didn't manage to change the constitution to make alcohol illegal, so there's that. But then the gangsters were going to make a lot of money, so there you go. The Argentines are propagandized from birth that the Falklands are rightfully theirs. The hard left appear anti-British to most people because they appear to be and often are anti-British. Yeah, I agree. They will allow other countries to do horrible things like Argentina or Russia. It's a good example. They'll allow it because they go, oh no, that's okay. But if Britain does exactly the same thing that Russia's doing, they'll be the first to go like, this is disgusting, because it is disgusting. I mean, I don't want Britain to do it. But if the English team won and they unfurled a banner that said Patagonia is British, I mean, everyone was just like, what? Hey, how do you wear that? Well, some Welsh people live there. In fact, I would say that if Patagonia had a referendum on whether they wanted to be ruled from Buenos Aires or whether they wanted to be ruled by London, I think that more people would vote to be run by London. To be honest with you, I think they would than voted in the Falkland Islands. Anyway, most Soviet nuclear scientists are actually Ukrainian, by the way. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Ukraine punches above its weight. It always has done. Always has. I mean, the Russian religion started. The Russian Orthodox religion, Eastern Orthodox religion that they have in Russia, started in Kyiv. You can't argue with it. It fucking did. It was 150 years before Moscow even existed. But there you go. Argentina goes on about the Falklands whenever their economy goes bankrupt, so every 15 years. Yeah, but Phonebox Chicken, I've been there a couple of times, and it's not just when their economy goes tits up. Honestly, the signs everywhere saying, Malvina says, son Argentines. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, it's on every bus stop. It's on every long distance bus. There'll be a sticker on the front with the outline of the Malvinas Islands, or the Falkland Islands. It's a bit oppressive. Actually, it's a bit oppressive. Patagonia speaks Welsh better than us Welsh, says Misty. Yeah, Tina Jones, yeah. Iran were warned by Pakistan not to attack Saudi Arabia or they will go to war with Iran. Okay. Pakistan going on the side of Saudi Arabia there. Yeah, that wouldn't be pleasant, a war in the Middle East. But you know what? There's people sitting around smoky fucking basements, concrete basements somewhere in America. These defense contractors, these the people who make the weapons of war, and they're like, You love your country, but don't be blind. Work to make your home better. Don't hate your neighbours for theirs. The left do care for the country, but not in ways which breed hate or stagnation. I think the left do care for their country a lot. I do believe that, but there are some factions. We call them tankies, don't we? Of people who would rather our country was ruled by another country. You know, we were subservient to the whims of Vladimir Putin, because we should just have a dictator in charge who tells us what to do and puts us in a fucking gulag, or just murders us outright, throws us out a window, or blows up our plane, or kills us with Novichok. If we look at him funny, that's the future that they want for this country. And you're like, why? What? And it's usually the same response, isn't it? Because Keir Starmer isn't perfect, because Andy Burnham isn't perfect. I mean, there's no amount of people who are not even given Andy Burnham. He's not Prime Minister, yes. They just hate him. They just absolutely hate him, but we'll come to that in a moment. Anyway, back to Farage, right? So we're saying about the Express seems to have seems to still give him broadly supportive coverage, but the other right-wing papers are turning on him. They're turning on him. And after the Sunday Times reported the alleged financial support from George Cottrell, which is over and above what he's already getting from the Harborne creep. He told the Express that he was considering legal action. Farage has referred publicly to the Leveson inquiry while attacking media coverage of him, which is somewhat ironic because the media have given him such a free ride for so long. It's ridiculous. Leveson examined police press conduct and recommended tighter independent regulation following the phone hacking scandal. We were supposed to get Leveson too. We never did. The Guardian reports that Farage's references to Leveson angered senior figures at right-wing newspapers that oppose stronger regulation. So, you know, that if you're going to piss off, if you're going to bite the hand that feeds you, that's the way to do it. And he's been fed by the right-wing press for years, for decades now. And the dispute occurred shortly after the Daily Mail defeated a court claim brought in by Prince Harry. So this was, you know, they thought they got away with it. They thought, oh, got it. And now Farage, their golden boy, is saying we should, you know, we should bring back Leveson. And they're like, what? No, don't say that. Don't say the word. Don't say that. It's like saying the word Voldemort or J.K. Rowling. She who must not be named. Patagonia is Welsh, says Richard. Yeah. So yeah, go on. Let's have that banner. Let's have that banner. Patagonia is Welsh. Just signs up everywhere. In Welsh. Just have to put it on every single bus in Wales. Go on. Like a nutter. Just like what? Nazi Germany made a boo-boo in their race to develop a nuke by having chased most of their scientists, including Albert Einstein, out for having the wrong kind of blood. Yep. The Soviet Union, the whack jobs who brought you Tsar Bomber, which was originally designed to have 100 megaton yield, but was reduced to 50 megaton because they thought 100 megaton was pushing it. Wasn't there a thing like they couldn't drop it from a plane because the plane would get destroyed in the resulting explosion? Like, it was just the Tsar Bomber was just insane. It was just off the charts. Is it the bomber? The bomber or the bomber? Bomber. Tsar Bomber. As Leveson 2 happens, his cushy GBBB's news job is gone. Laugh my arse off. Yes, Grim Fandango, I agree. The Nazis were focused on wonder weapons. Yeah, like the Grail. And the Ark of the Covenant. I learnt that from the historical document known as Raise of the Lost Ark. The Farage is the reason why I'm talking about this today. He addressed the inaugural CPAC conference. Did anyone see any footage from the CPAC conference? Did anyone see who's the crazy woman? Liz Truss. Liz Truss, empty CPAC. So this is a let's see if we can get a video up here of Liz Truss addressing CPAC. There we go. She opened it to a room that was mostly chairs. I mean, this is mad. Okay, I'll take you over there now. Here we go. So this is Liz Truss, who is speaking, and let's see if we can get some sound out of her. Oh, hang on. Hold on a second. There is no sound. Why is it? Oh, because I need to press this button up here. Okay, here we go.
Cultural and spiritual nihilism. Open borders and rising unrest. This week, we will have yet another Prime Minister installed in Downing Street. Andy Burnham. The seventh within 10 years. What do you all think of Andy Burnham? I've been there. I know that nothing will change. Helpful and
Oh my
spiritual.
giddy aunt. That was fun, wasn't it? Did you enjoy that? 15 seconds of fun. So I went to an event last night for Kim McGuinness, who is our mayor in the northeast up here. She's lovely. She's really, really lovely person, and she was having like a fundraising event. So in Newcastle, so I went along to that yesterday, and there were more people at the fundraising event for the northeast metro mayor here, Kim McGuinness. There were more people there than there were there at that event there. Former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. CPAC, funded by all these billionaires who don't have any friends. You see, because all the things that the billionaires and the trillionaires do is they don't have any friends. That's it. It's all astroturf. It's none of it's real. It's all bots, astroturfs, people who are paid to be shills for whoever it is, like 55 Tutton Street, lobbyists, etc. It's all fake. It's all astroturf. It's all fake. They don't have any real support, and we keep seeing that. Nurse, she's at it again. Yeah. Most of that audience will be press, mostly forced to be there by the media bosses. Martin, it reminded me of Tasty Men. Oh, sorry, Trashy Men. Oh, I think it's called Tasty Men. Had to go because of their job. Holy shit. It's somehow reassuring to know other people have to deal with idiot, no other people have to deal with idiot politicians. I mean, just that Liz Truss she actually stood up and said that Keir Starmer was the worst prime minister of all time. It's quite common to forget about yourself when you when you're slagging people off. Anyway, so Farage was there, and he described questions about his funding as a coordinated pylon. He should know about coordinated pylons because that's what he did against the EU over many years. He said that he had been demonised and dehumanised. Oh, dehumanised. Well, maybe don't have a face like a frog and then we won't think that you're not human. Since the disclosure of the £5 million personal gift from cryptocurrency billionaire Christopher Harborn, also known as Tash Creek Credit or something. Credit Swift. Cred Creek Swift. I don't know. Anyway, the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards has opened one inquiry into whether the goat gift should be registered, and the second inquiry is opened concerning allegations of support from George Cottrell, which Farage has tried to sidestep by stepping down as an MP for a few weeks and then getting himself re-elected. 32 people have put themselves forward as a candidate in Clacton. 32 people are going to be on the none of them big parties. Lib Dems, no. Greens, no. Labour, no. Tories, no. SNP, no. Plaid Cymru, no. They're not there. And it's like loads and loads of independents. There's two count them, people standing for the Monster Raven Loony Party. I think one's like the official Monster Raven Lunar Party, and the other one's the Monster. I don't know. There's two people standing for the same party, which is a bit weird, against each other. There's Farage versus Count Binface. And if you get some super chats in this morning, I will unleash the bin if you want the bin. Let me know in the chat. If a right-wing gobshite gave a speech to an empty room, did she really give a speech? Well, exactly. Got my Manchester Mail postal vote today. We'll fill it out after a cup of coffee. Yeah, Bev Craig. She seems really lovely. She was brought up in poverty in Northern Ireland. She's part of the LGBTQ community, which is fantastic, and she just seems like a really nice person. But hopefully they're going to win, because they've actually moved some activists. Reform have moved activists from Manchester down to Clacton because they're so scared that Camp Binface might actually win. I don't think Camp Binface is going to win, but wow, that's 30 people running for Clacton that nobody gives a shit about. 31 because Farage is running as well. I was just thinking, he must have been picking the beans, roasting the beans, and then making his coffee. One is the Monster Raven Loony Party, the other is the Loony Party of Raving Monsters. The popular people's front of Judea. Anyway, so during Farage's speech at CPAC UK, he gave Andy Burnham and Kemi Badenoch, he called them leaders of a uni party, and demanded a general election again. Okay, well, whatever, mate. I don't think Labour's going to fall for that one again. You know, when some little trumped up, privately educated fash boy stands up and says, "Oh, we should have an election," Labour just going to go, "No. You change the rules so we don't have to. So, don't like it, don't change the rules." It's a fun little story about being hoisted by your own petard. They got rid of the Fixed Term Parliament Act. They got rid of it. They got rid of that thing that could have allowed opposition parties to force an election. Or at least opposition parties plus a few Labour MPs who weren't happy. But Labour MPs are quite happy at the moment, generally speaking, because they're getting Andy Burnham. And he presents some hope that they might actually not get absolutely annihilated in the next election. So yes, the Farage is obviously denying, wrongdoing. But Lawrence Fox is standing as well, by the way, for the Reclaim Party, not the Refuck Party or the Restore Party or the Rejoin EU Party. The Rejoin EU Party's standing a candidate. I'm sorry, but as much as I want to rejoin the EU, I don't know if it's a good idea. What do you think? I'm going to do a poll. My friends. Let's do a poll, right? Poll. Rejoin EU standing in Clacton. Good idea. Yes or no? Okay, there you go. I'll run that for a minute. What do you think? So rejoin EU running in Clacton with 31 other candidates when all the big parties have pulled out, and we kind of want Binface to win. Because if you want to rejoin the EU, as far as I'm concerned, the best way for us to rejoin the EU is to destroy Nigel Farage's political career. Because he's the biggest threat. They don't even allow us into the EU while he's still circling around like a shark. Because they know that if he gets into power, whichever way he does, if he gets into power in this country, we're out of the EU again. So what's the point of going back in? It's a lot of headaches, a lot of hassle, a lot of paperwork, a lot of forms to be signed. But yeah, I'm not really. Anyway, Farage can't get out his check. Feels like all his pieces are taken, and he's just trying to stall out the clock before he's put into mate. Yeah, I think he's circling the drain, and I don't think that. I mean, I might be wrong, but I've got a feeling that tonight's going to be a good night. No, I've got a feeling that the refuck on the way out. I hope this is true. I don't know. I'm hoping against hope. So with 37 votes, I'm going to end the poll there. 76% of yous reckon no, not a good idea. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think that it would be better if your goal is to rejoin the EU. I think Nigel Farage getting defeated by a fucking bin destroys his political career. End of. Don't take any votes away from Binface. Because if Binface does win, it'll only win by 5 votes or something. It's going to be very, very close. Now, those 5 votes have gone to rejoin EU. Also, rejoin EU in Clacton. I'm not in charge of these things. You can't sway public opinion before the poll has finished, Graham Hughes. Oh, I can do whatever I like. It's my channel, Pity Cake Machine. Peter Miller. Thank you so much, Peter Miller. My old choir master was called Peter Miller. The Count is the only one with credible policies. He is. He's got some great policies, and he's going to build one affordable house. Unlike Farage, who's going to build one unaffordable house because it's going to cost $1 million. Yeah. Did you get called Windy Miller when you were younger, Peter? That's what we used to call our choir master. We used to call Windy Miller after the character from Trumpton. This is where Mike Dix will jump in and go, well, it wasn't actually Trumpton Graham. It was actually Campbell Wick Green. The EU won't allow us back while there's any chance of right-wing candidate cultists wrecking it as soon as they get a chance. Yeah. It has to be absolutely solid. What I would do, right, is if we do go in, I would change the rules so that if we wanted to leave, and I think that the EU should change the rules as well. Any government can activate Article 50 to leave the EU, right? But it must be accompanied by a supermajority, 66% of the population in a free and fair referendum that is overseen by independent adjudicators to make sure no cheating went on, and it needs to be 66%. Because that'll never happen. It'll never, ever happen. The only way they got to 52% is by cheating so hard. It was horrific. And obviously a Labour MP died as a result of Nigel Farage and what he did. The emotions that he stirred up. Grimfang, I don't care about much else here. I want Farage broken and humiliated, then arrested for fraud and treason, taken down from his former glory and forced to watch as every plan he made ends. Oh, I love that. That sounds so delicious. Oh, I haven't had any breakfast this morning, but that'll do. That'll do for breakfast. Thank you. Oh, that was... Oh, just hit the spot. Michelin star for Grim Fandango. I'm going to read that again, right? And it's going to get my... This is definitely going to get my comment of the day. Comment of the day. Comment of the day goes to Grimfang 999. Yeah, I don't care about much else here. I want Farage broken and humiliated, then arrested for fraud and treason, taken down from his former glory and forced to watch as every plan he made ends. Oh, chef's kiss, my friend. Chef's kiss to you. Beautiful. What a lovely sentiment. What a lovely story. I really like that. Okay, so I can never rely on the polls when it comes to voting because I bet it was Tory made. If we become part of Ukraine, we can get in via the back door. Yes, we can. Obviously. Anything short of that would be too good for him. I want him completely ruined. Yeah, so do I. I want him to just be a ruined man. I just want it, and I'm wanted. I'm wanted by the criminals, the international cabal of criminals that have given him this money to do this thing, and he's not going to do the thing. Who's behind it all? Russia, absolutely Russia. Allegedly, people are saying. Who is it that Christopher Harbour makes all his money from? Russia. He makes his money from Russia. He's literally working as a middleman, taking money out of Russia, allowing them to evade its sanctions by the Tether cryptocurrency that he has a huge stake in. And he's using that money to channel to Nigel Farage, because obviously the Russians can't give money to Nigel Farage directly. He'll get put in jail like Nathan Gilsey's going through a middleman. The middleman is Christopher Harbour, who lives in Thailand. Privately educated toff who lives in Thailand. And as soon as that comes out, not just the fact that it should end up in jail for Farage for working for the Russians against the British state, against it's treason. He's a treasonous scumbag. Put him in the tower as far as I'm concerned. But you don't want to cross the Russians. If you're taking £5 million from the Russians, which is effectively what he's done, and you don't deliver on your promises, that could be the end of it. He is very scared. He is very scared at the moment. You can see he's getting angry. He's panicking. He's in a corner. He's been cornered. Anyway, let's talk about Andy Burnham for a moment. So at this Labour event last night with Kim McGuinness, you wait all your life to meet a Metro Mayor, and then you meet two in the same week. Because obviously I met with Steve Rotherham the week before, and I don't get to meet with Kim. Who's lovely, and the mood in there was really positive, and it was more positive than I've been at a Labour event for a long time. Now, I was there at the Labour conference in 2024, in Liverpool, 2024, just after Labour won the election, right after that summer, right, and it was remarkably downbeat. In fact, I would say that the conference of 2023, when it was the feeling was that Labour were going to win the next election, when it happened, was a lot more upbeat. But I think that because of the way that Starmer and Reeves hit the ground stumbling when they started running the country and talked the country down and talked about how bad everything was and how we're going to have to tighten our belts and blah, blah, blah. We didn't want to hear that. After 14 years of Tory austerity, Brexit, COVID, fucking parties and Liz Truss, we did not want to hear how things were going to get worse before they got better. We just wanted to hear they will get better. And so that mood that the Labour Party foisted upon the nation also infected the Labour Party as well. And I've got to say, the party conference in 2024, it wasn't jubilant. It should have been jubilant. It should have been, we're going to fix things. We're here. Bob the Builder. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. But it wasn't. But last night at that event, it did feel like a little bit like what the conference should have felt like. And I'm quite looking forward to the conference in September or October, whenever it is, in Liverpool later this year, because I'm hoping that it will be a lot more positive. But there is a question hanging over whether Andy Burnham, who should be a breath of fresh air, is ready. He's due to become Prime Minister on Monday, obviously. He's already leader of Labour. He's the leader of the Labour Party now. He's got 2 days where he is leader of the Labour Party, but not Prime Minister. And then he's going to become Prime Minister when Keir Starmer officially resigns on Monday. And Burnham received nominations from 379 Labour MPs and all 11 affiliated trade unions. So fucking hell, it's even more, because I was saying it was about 350. It's 379. 379 out of 403 MPs, I think it is. I'm going to look it up. How many Labour MPs are there? There is 403. I was right. It's 403. The 411 were elected, and some of them have fucked off or been defeated in subsequent by-elections. So yeah, we got 403. So just get me a little calculator out here. What do you want to say? Numbers lock on. So it was. How many did I say it was? It was 379 divided by 403. Enter times by 100. 94%. 94% of Labour MPs want this guy to be the leader of Labour. And every single trade union that is affiliated with Labour want him to be. I mean, we could have had a contest, I suppose, but what's the fucking point? What's the fucking point? I'd rather just not waste the summer arguing with a bin, so to speak. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Look, it's just our stupid system. It's the way it works. We don't directly elect the Prime Minister. We never did. No one elected Rishi Sunak. In fact, they voted against him. Members of the Tory party voted against him, but he still won because Liz Truss was so bad. No one voted for Gordon Brown. We've gone through this already. It's just the way it is. It's the way the system works. If you don't like it, try and change the system. Fine, but you're pissed with the dick you've got. Yeah, he's becoming Prime Minister on Monday, right? And for most of us, that's like, oh, great, cool, breath of fresh air, whatever. But his team had expected a longer transition. They thought that he wasn't going to come into office as Prime Minister until September. And I don't know whether Keir Starmer sort of did this on purpose to fuck him over, or he just got the point where he's like, well, fuck it then, I can't. I'm gonna do stuff. I'm gonna work all over the summer just to be kicked out of my job in September. I'm leaving now. I'm going on holiday. I'm going to have a nice summer holiday with my family. See you later. Which is probably what I would have done that. Would you have done that? Would you have just said at this point, if you were Keir Starmer, wouldn't you just go, I'm going on holiday, mate. I'm not working all summer for you to get all the credit. That's anyway. So yeah, Starmer has authorised formal access talks after meeting Burnham at Carlton Gardens on the 23rd of June. And James Purnell, a former cabinet minister and BBC executive, has been appointed Burnham's chief of staff. A building has been identified for number 10 North. Officials are recruiting staff for the Manchester operation. Burnham has taken a few questions from journalists during this transition. And his cabinet will be announced on Monday. Cost of living proposals under consideration include a temporary private sector rent freeze, a lower bus fare cap, and moving green levies from energy bills to general taxation. The incoming government must address a reported £4.7 billion shortfall in the planned defence expenditure. And Thames Water requires a decision between a proposed private rescue package and government intervention. Other early decisions concern political donation rules, the EU, UK reset, and relations with the Trump administration. There is a lot to get through, so he's got a lot on his plate. I don't think he's going to be going to Pontins this summer. Burnham's let me go anywhere in Manchester for £2 a trip, which butters many a parsnip for me. Now I just have to find anywhere worth going. Aggregate, Dave, very, very, very acidic. You with your acid tongue. I like it. Rayner, mistake due to complex tax laws, evil. Farage, direct and giant bribe to run for office, plus other various reasons. What a kind and saintly man, says Grimfack. Yeah, exactly. I hate Farage. I really want him to go down. But look, from my point of view, and I know that not everyone watching this is going to agree with me on this, but I'm quite happy to see someone like Andy Burnham, who feels a bit more like me than anyone else who I've had as Prime Minister all my life. Most of the Prime Ministers that I've had, that I've been able to vote for, I guess, what party I've been able to vote for since I was 18. I've gone to private school. Or they've been Scottish, or they've been from the south, or both. And Andy Burnham, like, so to explain, I'm a Scouser. I was born in Liverpool. I was raised in Liverpool. Went to school in Liverpool. I was 18. I left to go to study in Manchester. So I lived in Manchester for 3.5 years. You know, so that's like obviously now I've made my home in Durham. So, you know, as far as the north is concerned, like this is my manor, this is my territory. You know, I don't claim ownership of it. It's just where I like to hang out. Yeah, I do really like the idea of Number 10 North. I do. I like the idea of getting some power the concentration of power out of London. I want to see more devolution amongst parts of England, never mind Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland, which deserve more devolution as well. And I think that we can work together, not necessarily as a federal state, because I don't think that would work with having a monarchy. It's a bit weird, but certainly as a country made up of you know, different political parties running different parts of the country. So the SNP are in charge up in Scotland, in the Scottish Parliament, and Plaid Cymru are in charge in Wales. And I think that's great. I think it's fantastic. You know, it's and people looking after their own shit instead of this one size fits all. So I'm positive about it, but I will give Burnham enough time to let me down. I know he will make mistakes. I keep saying this. He will make mistakes. He will absolutely make mistakes. So, you know, I'm happy about the fact that we've finally got someone who I feel like I can relate to. I don't think I've ever had that before in a prime minister in my lifetime. Couldn't relate to Thatcher, couldn't relate to Major, couldn't relate to Blair, really, couldn't relate to Gordon Brown. He was just miserable. Definitely couldn't relate to any of the Tories. I couldn't really relate to Keir. Yeah, Federal Republic, not my king, says Mr. Tisk. The UK has such immense potential. It was always insane to concentrate power and wealth in London. Yeah, all the money's in London, all the properties in London. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think low-level money issues, e.g. Rayner, is more tangible to most of the twatty voters, whereas Farage's 5 million is beyond the ken of right-wing twats. Yeah, I agree. And I like all the swears as well. I much encourage more swearing in the chat. More super chats and more swears. Always good. Always good. I support decentralisation, but to be honest, as a technocrat on the spectrum with minimal social skills, I actually like Starmer, who I felt could relate to someone to do the job without the bullshit. Yeah, okay, I understand why Starmer appealed to you in that respect, but in the same way that I think that Gordon Brown was a technocrat and just was better behind the scenes. And I think for your front man or front woman of the band, you need someone with a bit of riz. And Starmer, God love him, he just didn't have the riz. Look at the difference between the TikTok videos that Starmer made. He only joined TikTok 2 months ago. You know, I was there like 4 years ago, meeting up with Labour Digital down in London, saying you need to get a TikTok. You need to start doing TikToks. Why aren't you on? They didn't even have an account at the time. I was like, get on TikTok. What's that? It's an app that loads of people use. Get on. But you look at the difference, right? So, Andy Burnham will do a TikTok, and it's him he's just got his phone out, he's holding his own phone, it's not like a camera crew and everything, and he's talking to his phone like doing FaceTime or something. I've just got off the train from Manchester, I'm back in Warrington now, back home, and it's back from London maybe, and you know, it's been crazy. I just want to thank everyone who's supported me along the, you know, I'm looking forward to a chippy tea tonight. It's relatable. So it feels like you're having a chat with him on your phone on FaceTime. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Keir Starmer, all of his TikTok videos were like music and him walking through a door. And it was just like, what? What even is this? It's an advert. It's an advert for something. I don't even know what it's an advert for. The worst adverts are the ones where nobody knows what it was for. Because there were some adverts that people really remember, but they never remember what it's for. There's a really famous British gas ad where it had Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? Sung by, I don't know, Sandy Shaw, someone like, who sung Will You Love Me Tomorrow? I don't know, a Carol King? No. Anyway, whoever sung it, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? And it was the fireplace, and then there was a little mouse, and then the cat came in and then snuggled up with the mouse, and the dog came in and snuggled up with the cat, right? A really cute advert, really, really cute advert, right? And they all snuggled around the fire. Only, and this is the thing, this is the Mandela effect, it wasn't for British Gas. It was for Heat Electric. But that's not a good ad, is it? I always feel like this about car ads, because there was a spate of car ads in the 90s, probably into the noughties, and they all had the same storyline. And there was an attractive man, an attractive woman, and it looked like they were having an affair, but they weren't. They were actually married to each other. And honestly, there's about like 17 different car companies that ran the same storyline for their ad, and they were just completely interchangeable. And it was like, who is this? Who is this? At least with the Renault ads with Papa and Nicole, people knew that was Renault. Or was it? Was it Peugeot? I don't know. Could be neither. But yeah, at least they did something different. But yeah, I just thought that like the way that Starmer went about his social media was just cringe. It was using social media as though it was still the 1980s, and it's not. It's absolutely not. But yeah, what you call is I call bullshit. I got told Bojo had charisma too, but can never see it. While I support Burnham in his role until he's done, I get the same feeling listening to Bojo. But yeah, I know you don't. You see through it because your personality. You go, no, I'm not having this. It's all a bit bullshit. But I do think that when you have a democratic system, you got to get people on side. You got to get people to vote for you. You've got to have that connection. You've got to have that human connection. And we can call it race, we can call it whatever we want. But the Starmer, whenever someone put a camera in his face, he's just like a rabbit in headlights. Like I've spoke to Starmer, just had a chat with him, and he's fine. He sounds, he just comes across as a normal person. It's just as soon as you put a camera in front of him, he looks terrified. And because of his clear uncomfortableness talking to the camera, it makes me uncomfortable. It's like it's like someone dying on stage, not literally, but at a comedy gig or something. It just makes you feel so uncomfortable. You're like, oh God, make it stop. That's why they have the hook, don't they? The hook where they pull them off the stage. Renault Clio, that was it. Renault lol. Advertising weirds me out. Why is it also sexual? Says Grimfang. Because sex sells. Sex sells. Imagine the shit perfume ads that you get at Christmas. I think they just blow my mind. Like, they're always so shit. They're always like some woman in the desert with a flowing gown. And then someone whispers, bullshit by Yves Saint Laurent. And it's just like this weird, because I don't understand why these companies that have these mega budgets, right? And they would make one advert for the world. They were like, that's it. We're going to make one advert for the world. And you're like, why don't you make different adverts tailored to different countries? Because I think, those adverts might run well in a different country. But in the UK, woman, desert, slow motion, kind of graded, desaturated images of sand blowing. You're going to get sand in your crack. Why would you want that? I've got this perfume. You must be sweating profusely, love. You're in the fucking desert. You're going to smell of BO, whatever you do. It doesn't matter how much perfume you put on. Be the equivalent of, teenagers using Lynx Africa thinking it's going to make them not smell of sweat. No, it's not an antiperspirant. It just makes you smell of sweat and Lynx fucking Africa. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the desert. It's like as a clock. Okay, we're not advertising clocks, but those types of ad, and they make one ad and they show it in all territories around the world. And I think you've got enough money, you've got a marketing budget, make ads that are tailored to the territory that you're showing your stuff in. Or maybe it does work. I don't know. People just watch it during the ads for Emmerdale or something. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll get that for the wife for Christmas. It's been whispered to me by an American starlet. I am, of course, talking as an odd ADHD ace trans person, so almost none of the normal human experience makes sense to me. That's fair enough, Grimfang. And you're not in the majority, and the majority you need to get on sides in order to win elections in a democratic. Well, I mean, As far as Britain is democratic, eh? But yeah, in a democratic society, you need to get people on board, and it was a huge problem for Starmer. And like I keep saying, I don't think he was a bad guy. I think he made some really bad mistakes, and I think that he upset a lot of my friends, especially my trans friends, and that for me is a bit fucking unforgivable. Graham, I think seeing him uncomfortable is part of the reason why I related to him. I know I'm in the minority with this, but yeah, addressing the nation would be terrifying, so it makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, like this is the thing. I mean, me and Andy Burnham and people like us, we don't have a problem with it. Like I never get nerves before standing up in front of people. I just don't. I don't know why. I just never have. It's just my personality, probably from my ADHD or something. Whereas a lot of people I know, they stand up in front of a group of people and they get really, really scared. They visibly shake because they're, you know. But I think doing this each day probably helps. Just sitting there and talking to people online and having people chat back and try not to say the wrong thing. This is very difficult. I was thinking about this. I've done like some ridiculous number of morning brews. I've done over 1,000 morning brews, I think. And I've got to always think, like, don't say the wrong thing. Sometimes I do, and I lose viewers, which is sad. But sometimes I don't, and gain viewers, so that's good. The body shop is a war zone on the sensors. Then to Africa, it was a way of telling people before they even seen you that you've got raging acne. Oh, my acro Dave, calm down. I just be like, damn, I've got sand in my crevice, and I need a shower. Exactly. Sweating your ass off in a desert. Bullshit for men. London Underground. So there's a story here about a former underground cleaner called Mickey Steeds. God, this sounds like something from the Viz, doesn't it? Mickey Steeds has raised concerns about dust containing asbestos and other hazardous substances. His work involved dry cleaning infrastructure beneath stations. An employment tribunal found that asbestos reports existed for every relevant site, and that cleaning could potentially disturb it. The panel said that London Underground has not demonstrated proper compliance with hazardous waste disposal requirements. Steeds alleges that contaminated material was placed in ordinary waste skips and sometimes emptied onto railway tracks, which is not good. He was dismissed in August 2023 after refusing to withdraw his complaints. The tribunal ruled that the disclosures were legally protected and his dismissal was unfair. So let me drink some coffee. I've got the hiccups here. Imagine talking to an audience of how many people are watching? 83 people, and getting the hiccups. Embarrassing. What do you think? Embarrassing. I used to have to stand up in front of the whole school several times a week as a younger teacher. Early on, it was terrifying. Oh wow. I mean, maybe that was it. Maybe because I used to do the school Bible reading quite a lot in school. 136 people are watching. Hello, everyone. So maybe it was just from a young age, I just kind of got used to it and I don't really think about it. But I understand how people get really freaked out about it, and Starmer was one of those people. And also, I think Starmer also spent too long trying to consider every word that he said, and that didn't sound so good. Like I'm slowing down when I talk now because I'm trying to think about what to say. Whereas for Andy Burnham and Nigel Farage and Donald Trump and all these people, they never think about what they're going to say. They just fucking say it, which makes people feel a little bit more, relatable, I guess. Relatable. We need whistleblower protections in law. Diz, 100%. I agree with you. Can't give you comment of the day because I've already given that to someone else. But yeah, Diz. In America, if you blow the whistle on a company or government thing and people sue, you get a cut. You get a cut of that class action lawsuit for whistleblowing. There is an incentive to whistleblow in America. In the UK, there is no incentive. All that happens is you lose your fucking job. Like that guy working for London Underground, you lose your job and then you got to take him to a tribunal, and then 3 years later you might get a bit of money. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Donaldson, who is now languishing in jail for 1 count of rape and 13 counts of indecent assault and 4 counts of gross indecency. The offences involved 2 women who were children at the time, and sentencing is not yet taken place, but I think he's being held in custody at the moment. I'd be surprised if he was allowed to wander around. But he's filed papers with the Northern Ireland Court of Appeal, if you can believe that. Oh, Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat, my friend. That's very kind of you. Morning all for Dizz's Fix. Next up, the Bayeux Tapestry has been transported from France to London this week. The nearly 1,000-year-old embroidery has previously never left France. Its public exhibition at the British Museum is scheduled to open in September. The loan was first proposed by Theresa May and Emmanuel Macron in 2018. Negotiations covered transportation, temperature, lighting, and protection from physical damages. From damage, phones and pens were prohibited during the initial private viewing. Britain will lend France a collection of Anglo-Saxon and Viking objects in return. Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy said the exchange followed years of strained UK-French relations after Brexit, which I think, this and the fact that Starmer got the Legion d'Honneur, or whatever it's called, the big award for being a top bloke or top lady from France this week. I mean, the relations with Europe have got a lot better under Labour, a lot better, and long may that continue. And we know that if Andy Burnham was allowed to have his wicked way, we would rejoin the EU tomorrow. But unfortunately, we're not there yet as a nation. And if we're going to regard this country as a democratic state, we have to do what the majority of the people want. And at the moment, there's there is a sizable, this is a minority, yeah, but once the right wing start pouring money into it, we can say, well, 53% of people want to rejoin the EU now. It's like, well, that's great, but you wait till all the money pours in to the other side. Do as I say, or I fund your opponent. Paul Pollard, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That is very, very kind of you. And you go to number 1, my friend. My favourite YouTuber woman said she'd rather rub her lower reasons with a cheese grater than vote reform. To a reform activist. Oh my word. Oh, ow. Oh, thank God I don't have to go to France to see some cloth. Cynical, moi. Anyway, so there's other news here about we were talking about Elon Musk's SpaceX firm. Its value has collapsed. It's now below its initial public offering of $135 a share, and there was a test firing. There was a rocket that they tried to fire up yesterday, and there was something wrong with it. It didn't get fired up, and because the lack of success of his space rockets is now directly connected to the share price. Every time he blows up another rocket, and he's going to blow up a lot more rockets because they're shit and they keep blowing up, the share price is going to go down. People are going to lose everything. Because he bundled in his rockets with his AI, with his Starlink internet, with, I don't know, fucking whatever else he fucking owns, the Boring Company, I don't know. Honestly, it's the going to France part I take issue with. I like textiles otherwise. France is a beautiful country. I mean, look, Argentina's a beautiful country. It's just there's a lot of knobheads. Mind you, I was the same lighting technician who used to run a sweepstake with other stage crew on how many cast members were faint due to the heat coming off the lights. Yeah, well, that doesn't happen anymore because we have LED lights, which don't emit heat, which are fantastic. A lot more efficient. But yeah, get your blondes and your redheads out, and the heat out of those motherfuckers. Everyone was just sweating. Sweaty bastards on stage. The Bayeux Tapestry is a really big graphic novel that you couldn't read on the bus, and you already know how it ends. Spoilers. You're in fact enough. Thank you very much for the 4th super chat of the 5. SpaceX has the same level of worth as a rat in a tampon factory. Bit much. Grim, that's why the Eurostars take their time going back to France in the race down to the UK. Yes. So, meanwhile, connected to the AI thing, global semiconductor shares fell sharply. On Friday, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index fell 4.8%. Its decline for July reached approximately 20%, placing the index on a technical bear market territory. The ARM shares, the company shares fell 7%. AMD dropped 7.8%, Broadcom lost 4.2%, the Nasdaq declined 2.2% following a 1.6% fall during the previous season. The S&P was down 1.3%. Investor concerns included the high technology company valuations and the sustainability of AI-related share price rally. There's about 7 different AI companies, and 6 of them are making a loss, and the only reason why NVIDIA isn't making a loss is that makes the chips for the AI, but it's all the loss-making companies that are buying the chips off of NVIDIA. It is just a vicious circle, and it is going to collapse. It's a vicious bubble. Meanwhile, the United States has completed a 7th consecutive night of strikes against Iran. The operation included aircraft, drones, and warships. Targets included Iranian military and logistics infrastructure. A desalination plant in Kuwait, meanwhile, was hit because Iran responded with missiles and drones aimed at US allied Gulf states. Kuwait International Airport suspended operations because of repeated alert, and the renewed fighting followed the collapse of the ceasefire approximately 1 week earlier. This is destroying Dubai. It's destroying Dubai because people are like, I don't want to live here anymore. And people who were taking video of these rockets coming in from Iran were put in jail for making videos of rockets coming in. Ukrainian drones hit warehouses, meanwhile, and an oil depot in Russia. 7 night shift workers were killed at Wild Berries warehouse in Kotovsk in Russia's Tambov region. The 25 people were injured at the site. The regional governor said 28 drones were intercepted while approaching the area. A second Wild Berries warehouse in Elektrostal, eastern Moscow, was also struck. 24 people were injured there. Falling debris started to fire an oil depot in Noginsk, and 2 people were injured near the facility. A nearby maternity hospital was evacuated, but it wasn't hit by the drones. And the casualty figures were supplied by Russian regional authorities and were not independently verified by Reuters. But I mean, it doesn't sound out of the ordinary. It's a war, and the Ukrainians call these long-range sanctions, don't they? Long-range sanctions. You like our long-range sanctions? Well, they launched about 184 long-range sanctions against ships in the Sea of Azov and in the Black Sea last week. And yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? You start a war, you invade someone else's country, and they fight back. Of course, they're going to fight back, and this is what you get. How about if Russia withdraws from the Crimea and from eastern Ukraine, Ukraine stops bombing stuff in Russia? How about that? There you go. Whereas if Ukraine put down their weapons and stop fighting, Russia takes over the whole of Ukraine and tortures, rapes, murders with impunity, or the Ukrainian people that it feels stood against them, which it will do, because it's got a record of doing that, of torturing, raping, and murdering civilians, and it will continue to do so if it's allowed to. The only thing holding them back is Ukraine, plucky Ukrainians, a country a fraction of the size of Russia in terms of population and in terms of size, but Russia's not big enough. It's just the biggest country in the world. It's not big enough. Meanwhile, an Israeli airstrike hit a funeral in central Gaza. 8 Palestinians were killed. 20 people were wounded. The gathering was of a person killed in an earlier attack in the same area. And separate strikes elsewhere in Gaza by the Israeli military killed at least 3 additional people. And it's horrible. It's fucking horrible, and nobody's doing anything about it. And I want to see more. We've already heard that Andy Burnham wants to intervene more in what's happening in Gaza with the Israelis, and possibly put more sanctions onto them, and make sure that if Netanyahu does get yeeted out of power next in the autumn, which I really hope he does, I'm really hoping that we can get him in the International Criminal Court in The Hague for his crimes against humanity. Meanwhile, talking of crimes against humanity, the oil companies have been at it again. There's wildfires and droughts and storms all over Europe. A wildfire in northeast Spain has forced more than 1,000 people to leave their homes. 30 aircraft were deployed against the fire. Western Europe's average forecast high on Friday was 27.5 degrees. See, that's 4.2 degrees above the 1961 to 1990 average for that date. Drought conditions in France have worsened since the end of May. It hasn't rained here in the UK, most places, for 2 weeks now. Warm Mediterranean water threatened the cooling supply of gas-powered power station in southern France. Low Rhine levels are increasing shipping costs in Germany. Falling trees and lightning killed 2 people in France and 1 in southern Germany. The World Health Organization estimated that Europe had recorded 10,000 excess deaths so far this summer, and there's no end in sight. Meanwhile, India has launched the first privately developed orbital rocket. Skyroot Aerospace launched the Vikram 1 rocket from the Satish Dhawan Space Center. Liftoff occurred at 6:35 a.m. on GMT on Saturday. The flight was named the Mission Agaman, and the vehicle carried commercial payloads and orbital experiments. Vikram 1 can place up to 350 kilograms into low Earth orbit. Its design uses 3 solid fuel stages and a liquid fuel adjustment module. And the module is powered by a 3D printed engine. Skyroot completed a suborbital flight with Vikram S in 2022, and India opened its space launch sector to private investment in 2020. The government wants the national space economy to reach $44 billion by 2033, compared with approximately $8 billion currently. Which is, on the question of whether India should be firing rockets into space while people in India go hungry and the slums in India. I mean, well, you could take the same argument for what we do, and in NASA, the European Space Agency. Why are we spending this money sending stuff into space when there's people living on the streets? So yeah, I try not to be all too much. We're the be all and end all in this. And it's, if countries want to spend money on this stuff, if they're opening up to private investments and it's not taking money out the hands of people in growing up in slums on the outskirts of Mumbai, then okay, fair enough. Alex Jones would be happy with a shot glass of sweaty sand. Yeah, he probably would. One of my friends is a redhead, and he fainted on stage the night they were videoing the show. All you see is 4 stage crew dressed in black go on stage and drag him off without batting an eyelid. That's terrible. Goodie's Tech are taking the piss with moves to non-physical media and switching to produce components for AI as well. I don't wholesale hate AI, but once again, stock market distorts the economy and overvalues something that's good in moderation turns out to be an abomination. Yeah. I mean, AI is here. I mean, it's fine. It's not great. It's okay. It's just not worth investing 1.5 trillion pounds in. And me having an argument with the Gemini bot to say I want to be able to find a link. Can you give me a link to this website? And he goes, no. Can't give you links. I'm like, you're the Google bot. How can you not give me links? And I feel sorry for Russia. Once again, so much potential, forever doomed to be in the hands of tyrants. Yeah. Chrissy says, Katie was 13 at the time, and stage crew hold no prisoners, lol. He was okay afterwards. Turned out he didn't have anything to eat. The daft idiot. So much sympathy, my friend. So much sympathy. New drilling in the North Sea and Mahmood as Chancellor. I really hope this is just newspaper tittle tattle. Otherwise, Burnham. Winter fuel moment, in my opinion. So sorry, late start this morning. I don't know because the winter fuel thing affected pensioners directly, whereas having someone as Chancellor doesn't necessarily affect people directly. Other than we don't like her because she was doing the Home Office, and she's quite sort of socially conservative. But I think Phil made a good point yesterday. If she has moved to the Chancellor, I'd rather as Chancellor, where she doesn't get to choose who comes in and out of the country, than as Home Secretary. Acro says, next the far right will be saying we have to pull out of the World Health Organization. The far right wants to pull out more things than the Catholic without a priest to confess after the fact. Mark said they banned vapes in India because they make so much out of tobacco. Shame on this government, though, for future VAT taxing vapes, which help people give up smoking. I like to discourage the whole smoking malarkey. I hate it when people breathe the toxic chemicals in my face. It's not fun. My chancellor would be Darren Jones. Yeah. I think that would be a good pick, actually, because no one's really got any beef with Darren Jones. Yeah. Did the same Darren Jones as well. Less divisive, but also white man. forerun with 7 God, love and forgive everyone, all praises, all glory for our God, hallelujah. Oh, that's nice. One can be homeless and live in a tent now. There just has to be a change in the law. Yeah. Damon Jones is impressive too. Yeah, we like Darren. I've spoken to him as well. He's all right. He's all right. Do you know what? Most of them in Labour are all right. They're all right. There's a few dickheads. There's a few fucking arseholes. But apart from that, the vast majority of them are quite decent people. I'd rather have her as Home Secretary than Chancellor. The Chancellor is core and the economy determines everything else. She has 0 economic experience. That is more dangerous than any value she holds. Okay, so we've got the weekend here. We've got Clive Murray. My BBC work life wasn't healthy. I missed out on so much. We've got BBC Britain's new PM. Burnham promises hope, but stays quiet on everything else. Well, I mean, that's not just what he said. I mean, he did lay out a few things. Welcome to Gianni's Abomination final. We've got Met Police investigating generic campaign donation. We'll examine 5 warnings claim. Woo! We've got the FT weekend. We've got the Conspiracists World Cup. We've got Burnham puts focus on business as Coronation as Labour's leader. Ultra fast feed of Trump's posts pitched to market players at $100,000 a month. Odyssey leads way as big screen draws back crowds, so people are going to see the Odyssey, which is great, especially for my trip around the world, which is called the Odyssey. And then we've got the Telegraph here, the awful Tory graph. Burnham Kinnock is my inspiration. Good. He's a nice bloke. I met him a few weeks ago. I had a chat with him at the Rejoin March. He's a good lad. Yuri Geller, I must have bent over 1 million spoons. I don't know why he's still a thing. Yuri Geller, he's just a gobshite. He's a fucking gobshite. He's a fucking con artist. Rayner to run health with order to reform social care. It's a fantastic appointment. I really support that. With a farrago of nonsense, revisionism, and economic illiteracy, says Alistair Heath I don't think Alistair Heath went to private school, actually. But he's a gobshite nonetheless. Double trouble for twins at EU borders. Oh, God. Tory MP cleared of Groucho groping. Trump accuses China over 2020 election. China, is that the election that the Russians interfered in? Do you want to mention the Russians interfering in the papers that you released that said the Russians interfered on your behalf? On your behalf, Trump. Did you know that? Burnham vows to revive Labour, and we've got the 3 wise monkeys there. New leader promises return of the party they once knew. First policies will aim at offering breathing space on bills. That'd be fantastic. Good, fucking do it. We've got the Daily Fail here. Boris in the kill zone. I won't make the comment that I will love to make there. A heart-stopping dispatch from Ukrainian frontliners. Ex-PM came under missile fire and dodged death by the roadside. Did he nearly do a Gaddafi? Burnham to drag us back to the 1970s. The front cover of the Daily Mail, screaming as new Labour leader finally takes over and pledges to roll back Thatcherism. And there's the first picture of the Whitcomb suspect there, disgusting man who went and murdered a pensioner for fucking reasons I don't know. I disagreed with her venomously about everything, but she didn't deserve to be murdered. No one deserves to be fucking murdered. He drove all the way from Rotherham to down to Cornwall to murder an old lady. I mean, what the fuck? Nothing. Twat. Anyway, I hope they throw the bucket in. Spice up your wife. Mel C to marry model in secret Lake District ceremony this weekend. Well, it's not very secret, is it? It's on the front cover of a fucking newspaper. Secret ceremony. It's on the front cover. It's like when they had that. The meme that goes around of secret bunker, and it's got an arrow. Not very secretive there, Mel C. Probably the most talented of all of the Spice Girls, Scouse Spice. Talking of Scousey Spice, here's King of the North, mad for it. Andy's New Order. Burnham dad dances to Manchester tune as he's crowned Labour leader. They played True Faith as he exited the stage, and it was like, oh, yeah, New Order. Cool. I used to think that the day would never come. And then we've got Success After 25 Years is Delicious, says Hannah Waddington, who I think went to private school, but who knows. We've got This is our last chance to beat the right, says Burnham. He's completely right on that. US to give $7 million to think tank founded by Rees-Mogg. Rees-Mogg is worth over 100 million. Worth over 100 million. Can we invest in people? Instead of investing in fascist organisations, can we invest in talented artists and filmmakers and creatives and writers? Can we invest in fucking people, please? Can we invest in people, please? Please, can we invest in people? By the way, one more super chat. Talking of investing in people, one more super chat, and we will have our wonderful, wonderful confetti. Whoever gives a super chat can decide whether they want just normal confetti or they want boba fetti or whether they want bin fetti. Let me know in the chat. Burnham tells Labour, I am your last chance. PM in waiting insists I have a plan, but still unchosen his cabinet. Party grandees applaud as he crowned leader with no opposition. Yeah. And then you're right, Andy, this is Labour's last chance. Oh, the Express agreeing with him there, which is kind of good, I suppose, if the people reading this are like, kind of anti-Labour, anti-left, they'll go, he's all right, he's all right. Say that again. Say it. I like hearing it. Say it. He's all right. Anyway, right. I'm gonna put my Falklands. I'm gonna put my Falklands thing here. There you go. I'm gonna put my Port Stanley. There you go. That'll show him. Yes, we did it. I was about to sign off, but Viper Scott jumped in at the last minute. Confetti time, and we have a request for Bin Feffy. I could not deny you, Viper Scott, your desires, so I will furnish you with the glorious wonder, and Paul Pollard as well. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat, both of yous. They both want Bin Feffy, so who am I to argue against the will of the people? 3, 2, 1, Bin Feffy! Woo! I'm camping phase. Woo! Camping phase. I'm camping. I'm Sigma 9. Sorry, I do amuse myself. Server, thank you. Boba Bin Feffy, please, as well. Thank you very much for the super chats, everyone. Okay, that's it. I'm going to sign off now. So thank you very much for joining me this morning on the show. Thank you very much for the super chats. Really, really appreciate that. Don't know if I'll be able to do a show this evening. I was thinking of doing something, but I think we're celebrating some event. I don't know, some birthday or something. But I will be back tomorrow for the Sunday sermon. So please join me for that, and that'll probably be at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. But on the off chance that it's not, and I have to do it a bit earlier because we're going out somewhere or something. Goddamn family life. I know. What am I like? Give us a like, but also give us a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Please subscribe to the channel. But also, if you are subscribed, hit the bell notification icon, all right? Because then you'll get a buzz in your pocket when we go live, and you'll get 5 minutes notice at least to let you know that we're going to be doing a show. And, you're all invited. We're doing a show together, this is all us. This is not just me. This is obviously, we have a conversation, we have a chat, we read out the stuff from the comments. I love this. And I love you. Thank you. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you for hanging out each morning with me and going through what's going on in the news and giving our views. Graham Hughes with his news on the views. Having some booze. Woo! And until we see each other again, say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.